Air Force to dance. I heard you wanted to meet girls.
Well, yes, but no. Actually, I loved the Army. Went in at 18, they made me a pilot. And being a pilot, dancing, raising a family are the three best things I ever did. The family was first. I mean, that was really fun. Flying a plane is like dancing, in a way. The difference being that you dance, dancing's better, but you dance for an audience. The best way to fly is alone. All alone in the sky. But I had come out of the Air Force, and at that time I wanted to be, I thought, a journalist. I went back to Brooklyn College, changed my major from science to English. Because in the last year of the Army, I'd been on an Army newspaper and wrote for it. I thought, hey, this is great. And I would have been a journalist if it hadn't been for taking a lark, a couple of lessons at the Martha Graham School, where I never got out. I walked in, and within minutes of walking into that place, I liked the atmosphere. I don't know, I didn't know what I liked, but I liked you guys. I liked being around people who wanted to perform. Never changed. I still find it's like a home. I can't just, well, you all know what it's, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Belonging to something.
Yeah.
Also, he writes beautifully. I just encourage you to ask him where you can find his book.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Both of my books, well, one, I've done 3 books. One's published, but 2 aren't. And so I said, the hell with this. One of them is being looked at by Shelley Wanger, who's an editor of Knopf. She hasn't returned it after 6 weeks. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. But I started a website about 2 months ago to tell stories. And your stories, meaning showbiz stories. And it's called chorusgypsy.com. And I hope you look at it. I've left some cards. Because what's fun, I'm hearing what you guys have to say. And they're not anywhere. You can read, I've read all the books. Well, my wife is an addict for biographies by stars. I mean, it's really on her back. It's a monkey on her back. And we have everything in the house. And I read some of them. I read the Lawrence book, good book. Just read Farley Granger's because he was in a show with me. But I don't mean that kind of story. Not the story of stars. Just the things that happen backstage. They are mind-boggling. And so my little website, I thought I'd start it with my stories that I remembered. And in fact, I just wrote one. It'll go up tomorrow. It's got your name in it, Terry, because you were in a flop called Cafe Crown, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you remember me? I wasn't in it. But I find stories of flops the most fascinating of all because they all start with a dream. And so I don't know where it's going because I want to hear other people tell about them. Ron, am I seeing you right? Ron
Over here.
No, where's Ron Stratton?
Here.
There you are.
Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't you just send me a story and I called you on the phone?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
I mean, it's about a different flop. What one was it?
Kelly.
Oh, Kelly, I saw it. And it ran 1 performance. And his last line, I mean, the amazing thing about the story is they didn't even tell them that the show had flopped. They went to the theater and tried to get in, and they did, you know, and there's a work light. That's a lonely looking thing. And they go up to their dressing rooms, they're unloading, people are arriving. I'm telling you the story, but not as well as Ron told it. It just, they were all crying. I couldn't believe it, you know, like, what's going on? Why isn't the show here? And so somebody says, oh, come on, let's go to Sardi's. So they go to Sardi's and they drink and talk. And the last line was, see you in class tomorrow. It was so beautifully gypsy. My stories...
Would you tell the Jones Beach elephant story? Would you?
Yeah, it's in there and it's got a title, Pissed. That's the name of the story. And it's quite literal. Buzz Miller had started off as the lead, but he quit. Gave us notice after 1 week when I was his understudy, so I got to do that part. And I danced with a woman named Kitty Lee, Catherine Lee. Rod Alexander's choreographer. It was wonderful, I loved it. And one night, we're about to do this jazz number, and as Buzz Miller didn't have to do it, but I had it as in the chorus, and I liked it. I wanted to keep doing it. And Kitty, about whom I cannot say enough nice things. She's one of the nicest people I ever met. And Stuart Fleming was next to me, and we followed a parade. It was this big parade. And the last two members of the parade were a big elephant and a little elephant. And the circus guy, the elephant guy, he was sort of nasty, and he was scruffy, and the girls were afraid of him. And one night, Let's Take a Trip came one afternoon, and they made him a video, and the kids rode on the elephant. And that night, when that played, the FBI saw it and recognized the elephant man who was wanted for auto theft, and they came and took him away in handcuffs. So there were no elephants that night. But then this was like a week later, they had a new elephant guy. So we're waiting in this place where our cue started. It was like a cupola, kind of an arched thing. And suddenly the elephant stopped in the middle of the stage. You're not supposed to stop. And then Stuart says, "What's that dangling from the big elephant?" Well, it wasn't dangling, it was gushing. It was like a fire hose, but it was pissing on stage. I remember Stuart said to me, "I thought they gave them something for that." At which point, Kitty said, "Magic time." She paid no attention, and out she went with her hips. And we had these bandanas, and we had to do this little jazz walk. Knee drops. When we finally, it had been a rainy night, but the stage was a little damp. But where we were dancing, it was foamy and puddles. Didn't bother Kitty, but we were the ones that had to do the knee drops and the rollovers, and these moves were splashing in the piss with our hands, splashing each other. She would turn around and do one of these little things, and we'd hit her. And as we came off, there was another number that had preceded us, Butterflies, Nurska, and they had been falling down, and because it was wet, and we had been laughing at them. I remember one of them came by me and said, "Where did you get out there?" Well, she waited. And as we came off, all those guys, those women, were just dying with laughter. They couldn't stand up because we were covered with piss.